So our project is basically a proof of concept visualization for a graph node editor. And basically the graph is essentially a tree graph that represents a website, and each node represents a component of said website. And, oh, sorry. Forgot. Yeah. So basically what we can do is we can make changes. If you think of it as like Git, you can make changes on your own branch that are separate from master, which is the live version. And what you can do is you can save those changes onto your branch, and then when you're ready to commit those changes on the master, you can also do so as well.
Okay, so the tech stack that we used for the project was mainly React, for the majority of it, and all the design for our UI was done by Material UI, by Google, and we did all of our testing cases with Jest. So here's kind of just like a picture of part of our UI. It was kind of like first drafted and designed using Figma and Sketch, which are just like design tools that we used to create everything. Once we did that, we also, with React, used Google's Material Design for all the drop-down features, drop-down menus, search bars, edit radio buttons, and like some pop-up modals that we had. And here's just kind of an idea of like a drop-down that we had in the UI, which you'll see in the demo here in a second.
The way we visually represented these nodes on their web app was by a bubble chart graph. This was built with React D3 library, and the blue node will show like the current node that you're on that you searched for, and then all the surrounding gray bubbles will be all the linked nodes to that. We implemented 2 searching features to search for nodes. One of them was searched by instance ID, and one of them was searched by owner.
So for searching by instance ID, every node in the GDS server graph is addressable by domain, model, and instance ID. So when the user first boots up our application, they are presented with a search bar in which they can type in domain, model, and instance ID, and it will display all the information that is relevant to that specific node.
The search by owner feature is if you don't know the specific instance ID of the node you're trying to search for. So you can type in the domain model and then the owner of that node, and there could be many nodes under those 3. And all of the nodes will display in a menu, and you'll have the option to click on the individual nodes and search through them.
So for our edit feature, as I mentioned, all the relevant information in the node is displayed to the user. And how we did this is we displayed it in cards, or we call them info cards. Each of these info cards is editable, and when the user presses the edit button, they're able to edit the parameters within each info card and then commit it to the live server within GDS. So let's go to a demo here. So first off, we are taken to one of those that first search. We can search for a node by domain, model, instance ID. And they're presented with the bubble chart. The blue node is the center node. The current node that's being searched. All the gray nodes are the links or neighboring nodes. And node information is all the data that is relevant to that specific node. If we scroll down here, we can present information on the neighboring nodes. So we have 2 categories. We have cards, and we have hyperlinks, as well as owner, which is the parent node to the current node. So these are all the cards. If you click on one of the drop-down menus one of the nodes from the drop-down menu, you're presented with information on that node. And we can also navigate to this node by going to it directly. Yes.
So now you're navigated to this new node by the previous node. So that's how you can navigate through the links. Now, if you want to search by owner, so you can type in So as you can see, there's 3 nodes having to do with this domain model and owner. And So I can click on one, and it'll navigate to that node, and then we'll display all this information.
We can also edit this information by pressing the edit button, and we can change the value of x to be 7. We can revert these changes back to how it originally came, and we can also save these changes locally, and then once a change has been detected, our app will present the user with a banner. This banner will commit the changes to the live server. Unfortunately, we're having issues with authorization to actually commit to the live server. However, we can cancel these changes and then revert it back to originally. And when you press cancel, all info cards that were ever edited will revert to the original state that they came to. That's the function of our app.
Oh.
There you go.
So that's our demo. Here we have some of our obstacles that we encountered. So for all of us really, this is our first time dipping our toes into React. So it's really interesting to like have the first week or so trying to figure out what's what and how to use things. Early on, we also ran into a lot of CORS issues, which is cross origin reference sharing, and we had issues, talking to the server and trying to get the data we wanted. And we learned a lot about how to manage Git and how to control your branches and how to share your projects and whatnot. And early on, we also weren't sure how to use the GDS API that we were going to communicate to. And we also learned a lot about how to use Agile in the professional development environment. So we learned a lot this in summer, and we hope that we can use our experiences to do better things in the future. But you don't have to take our word for it that we learned a lot. We can show you. Throw it to Sarah.
So this was before the whole UI that we just showed you guys. This is what we've been working with for the first few weeks. And it was really bad because all the links and the cards and owner and everything I kind of just threw into one text field. And it was just really bad. It looked so bad, and we just joked about it the whole time and just called it the check, because it literally looks like a check. And so I sat down, I was like, okay, this is an issue. I just need to completely redo this. So just designed and created the UI we currently have. So, yeah.
Are there any questions?
Well, UI you currently have. Show it to us.
Oh.
Go back to the demo.
Like a before and after. How does
So
that
you
work?
didn't point out the part I had you bring up last time, which is that you're automatically creating those fields off of the content of the.
That's a lot of information. You guys would like to hear it.
Sure.
Okay, sweet. So one of the biggest challenges, and our mentor kind of presented this to us, an era of big data. You don't exactly know what's going to be stored in your backend. And you shouldn't assume what's stored in your backend as well. And that was one of the main issues that we encountered when trying to present information to the user. When we first had the legendary check there, all the fields were hard-coded based on what we expected to get from the API documentation we were using. To kind of as a solution to deal with this issue, we had to dynamically render every single piece of information that we get from the JSON response from the server in a way that is meaningful and organizable to the user. That took many weeks of effort and trial and error with React, especially if you don't know React very well starting out. But I'm pretty proud of our results and what we came up with there.
How does that circular thing work?
Oh,
What
like
do
the
you-
bubbles?
tell me about the bubbles.
So really it's just a visual about visualizing the nodes and then the links to it. But it does pop when you scroll over. And also if you hover over it, it'll tell you what node it is. So, yeah.
So you can actually kind of navigate through the graph and the different nodes just from that
Well,
chart?
we wanted to, but we didn't have enough time to do that. If you were be able to click on a node from the graph, and then it'll take you to that node. But fortunately, time was an issue.
As a list of features we would like to add, that would
Yeah.
be one of them for sure,
Yes.
to route the user to other nodes based on the graph, as well as adding some sort of login information, because we struggle with that a lot, trying to get the correct authorization from the user.
is GMS that you guys were mentioning?
GDS.
Or
It's-
GDS?
It stands for Graph Data Service.
Okay.
What was one of the hardest parts of working on this project?
There's not many. There were many.
Let's hear some of them.
Yeah, the way we were organizing Git, we had branches by name, which caused several merge conflicts. So we resolved this by organizing Git branches by feature, which is what many of the other intern teams were doing as well. Also, learning React for the first time, that was really difficult. And then we had like CORS issues, because our app is not deployed to the same domain as all the other CDK apps. So whenever we would try to make requests to the GDS service, it would just break our app because we weren't authorized.